Hey guys, it's been a while, right? It's been 5 years since I've done a video similar to what I'm gonna do now. 5 years ago, I recorded a video on what a $1 million call center looked like. And since around that time, we've had our course going. There's been over 500 students that have taken it. Over 100 call centers have launched, and combined, as far as what I know, those call centers now do millions of dollars a month, multiple millions a month, combined in revenue. So it's been a pretty significant journey. And this time around, I'm creating a new course. It's focused on the hybrid model because now voice AI is a thing. So there's three different verticals now. One is in the line of AI only, which I do not recommend, but it can work in certain contexts, certain use cases, especially for certain clients that you might have. Of course, there's the human side, which is how I built my first call center and how I initiated my current call center, as well as hybrid, which is what I recommend in the course, which is what the business model that I follow now. And so, with that in mind, I created a completely different spreadsheet that allows you to forecast once again. It's available in this upcoming course that I'm creating. But the purpose of this video is for you to become acquainted with what a $25,000 a month business looks like as opposed to the 100,000 a month or 83,000 a month. I think it's harder for people to sort of think about, oh, having $1 million company. But when I talk to people over the years, again, over 500 students, one of the questions I ask, and this is in a general context, even outside of call center. Okay, you want to start a business, you have a job, congrats. Okay, what does that mean? How much does it take for you to feel free? Right? Not to feel extremely successful or wealthy. What do you need to feel free? And usually that number is somewhere between six to $10,000 a month. That's like 90% of the time, right? In other countries that might not be as expensive is of course lower than that. So $25,000 a month in revenue gets you to that level of profitability, especially if you structure it as suggested, right? So again, I wanted to sort of do this. There's a lot more considerations here. There's a lot of different types of call centers, and in terms of how they're implemented, in terms of how people choose to pay people, the profitability is a lot higher now. And the largest point is that because of voice AI, that's a new component. There's a bunch of different variables that are considered. So without further ado, let me take you over to the calculator, and we're going to talk about what it looks like to have a $25,000 a month in revenue call center. Hey guys, all right, so we're in here. Let me get my face out of the way. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, again, there's a lot more considerations here. I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can, but the main purpose of this is for you guys to sort of get a sense of what it looked like at the $25,000 a month in revenue level. I'm going to explain the calculator to a certain point. I think you guys will get sort of some uh, some additional contextual value from this, just in terms of how I think about how call centers run. And honestly, since I've sold the company and since I've been sort of talking to different students that have their own businesses that run things a little differently, have different ways of pricing and stuff. I've had new considerations. I've also ended up doing some consulting here and there, and some of you don't already know that I have a new call center now. And so there's been a couple major changes, especially in consideration of the calculator. The first, of course, is now we got voice AI. So I factor that in terms of voice AI call taken percentage of the total. As well as voice AI average minute cost. I have a white label option for those of you that that want to start a business, especially people that take the new course that I'm developing. Um, and they don't want to figure out how to build your own voice AI bots. We can do that for you. We charge 35 cents a minute. Um, but let's go through it. So, first off, the number of clients. it really comes down to what the average client size, right? In the old calculator, it was like, oh, well, you'll probably be doing around $350 a month, 330, based off a certain pricing structure. But again, everybody's pricing is different. So, um, if you're not doing anything, you have two people that are making $1,000 a month per. I put in some additional cost on there in terms of just accounting for things that happen when you employ people. So I put in a multiplier of 1.3 times whatever the salary is. It's pretty standard. The phone system cost. Typically, we recommend a system that has a minimum of 3 seats, and it's about $400 a month. I added $100 buffer on there. Let's see. So let's say you've got a number of clients. Um, so let's say in this case, we're looking at about 50. Okay, maybe a little lower than that. So 45, about 45 clients. If the average number of calls per client, this is per client, about 100 calls a month, right? So really, over the course of 30 days, that's just over 3 calls a day. So these clients aren't big clients, right? If you got clients that are doing more like, let's say 10 calls a day, so 300, then you only need about 15 clients to get to this revenue number, right? So it's there's just it's highly variable in terms of how they break down. But if you're at what I think the average client size would be, which is around 100 calls a month, then it's probably closer to about 45 clients that you're going to need. Now, what you'll see here is that the number of agents you have and like basically your team isn't that large. You've got 6 agents. This includes the lead agents. So honestly, you'll probably have one lead agent that are sort of guiding these agents. You'll have one supervisor, maybe on top that's sort of guiding that. And the supervisor is really going to be someone that sort of feels like your op person. The op person, I'm not going to explain that fully, but the op person, at a high level, they focus on like SOPs. They focus on making sure that your team is doing what they're supposed to do. They focus on making sure the software is set up properly. They're also the type of person that might spit out some reports for your clients, right? So they just make sure processes and stuff are in place. Now, um, average talk time is a consideration. Typically, the average talk time in terms of minutes, and this isn't handle time, this is talk time. Typically, it's around 2 to 2.5 minutes. So let's say we put this to 2, that changes the calculus on everything, actually. You can see the monthly revenue different, everything different. So let's change this 45 clients from maybe about 55, something like that, 56. Um, and let's see here, 56 clients. So that's 25 too. Now the average price per minute. The way that pricing works is that it's going to be on a lot of times people are doing packages. So let's say, you've got a package of like, $100 a month for 100 minutes. That's $1 a minute, right? Let's say you've got another package, 300 minutes for $250 a month, right? That's like 80 cents a minute or whatever it is. And no, I gotta get that math right. So 300 minutes for $250 a month. Uh, Whatever. It's like in between 80 and 85 cents a minute. Um, and so but what we're finding is when I was running Vicky Virtual, um, I was charging on average around $1 a minute. When I sold it, one of the largest in the space, which was called Ruby Receptionist, was already at about $2 a minute on average. A lot of our students have been averaging closer to $2 a minute. Um, and if you're in the course or if you look up virtual receptionist companies and you just go on their websites and look at the pricing and you see the different package options, just like tiers, you'll typically see somewhere that works out to about in between $1.50 to $2 a minute. Okay. So we're going to put this at $1.50 just for whatever's sake. Voice AI call taking percentage. If you're building a hybrid call center, right? Voice AI is going to be taking the simple call, and then humans are going to be taking the harder stuff. And so, like, honestly, the percent could be a lot higher. It could be like 60%, right? As you can see, the revenue goes down a little bit, but the profitability goes up significantly. Um, but let's say it's like, 40%, and then we'll bring the number of clients up to about 60. Yeah. Oh, 58? Okay, that'll do it. And then if the average minute cost, if you do it yourself, you might be closer to about 20 cents a minute. But it's just really not that significant of an expense. If you can see the AI cost is 928 here. If you're white labeling and we're doing it for you, $700 a month, and we've got that sort of taken care of for you at the $25,000 a month level, right? Now, even with this number of agents, since the number of clients changed, now the number of agents has changed, because the amount of human time is lower now. So if AI is taking a higher percentage of call, the AI is taking it, your humans aren't. So since the total number of human minutes has gone down, right? Um, there's only 4 agents required to handle that. If we take this AI call taken down to 0, well, now humans are handling more time. Apparently, still 4 can do it, but there's more human minutes involved here, and so things just sort of change. Profit margin is crazy. Wow. So let's take this back to 40. Um, now, uh, as far as average agent salaries, you can put this what it is. Our average is about it's about 1,000 now. When we bring on a new person, we're hiring out of Eastern Europe as well as Latin America. We typically hire around $800 a month, but it does go up to like $1,200, $1,400 a month. So the average is around 1,000. When I was running Vicky Virtual, we were averaging about $14 an hour. So, that's closer to what? About $2,200 a month. So a little bit more than double, right? And the quality of service that we're able to provide with the Latin Americans and Eastern Europeans have been the same or higher. Honestly, our retention as far as agent turnover has been very low. And because we're hiring in places where it's $1,000 is actually more significant than $2,200 is here, the caliber of talent we're working with is actually better. So we've had a better experience from an operation standpoint doing it this way. Um, we can put in a lead agent salary, we can put in a supervisor salary. Once you get to a certain size, we need a supervisor. So let's, for instance, put in 500 clients. That brings in 2 supervisors. We got more lead agents and 21 agents. One of the big considerations, and I know I'm going all over the place, feel free to, rewatch this video as needed, so that you can, sort of really learn all of this. But um, we like our average daily workload, and this is the total amount of time a human is spending on the phone, to be 225 minutes or less. And what that means is that it's almost 4 hours of handle time in like an 8-hour shift. So I try to have talk time to be at 180 total at max. But there's something called after call work. When an agent finishes a call, they will sort of spend time typing up their notes and stuff. And so once that's done, the entirety of that interaction on the human side, which is called handle time, is done. So there's talk time, there's after call work. If you combine those 2 durations, you got handle time. So if you look at this, it'll say total human minutes on the phone, but converted to handle time. What I did was I did a 1.25 multiplier to make it that. So if you got 180 minutes, 180 times 1.25 is actually 225. I actually didn't realize that I did it this way here, but I did. You can see the number of daily calls, like individual calls on average per agent is 79 in this scenario, right? Again, voice AI is taking 40% here. So they've taken 40,000 minutes. Um, the humans are taking 60,000 minutes. but because its handle time is 75,000 minutes that humans are actually spending dealing with interaction, for talk time of 100,000 a month and handle time of 115,000 per month, right? In this scenario, um, we've got total minutes allotted. Now, this is going to be the hardest part for me to explain, but I want you guys to consider that as you're pricing, as you're getting yourself together in terms of really forecasting what your business is actually going to look like. Now, let's make it simpler. So, say you got 10 clients, they do 100 calls per month, right? Now, let's say the average talk time is 2 minutes. So, if you have 100 calls a month and the average talk time is 2 minutes, that's 200 minutes a month, right? Now, if you have 10 clients that are doing 200 minutes a month each, that's 2,000 minutes across your entire business. Now, this is all assuming that this is the amount of time that your agents are actually spending on the phone. Now, so say if one of your clients is a 200-minute client, so let's bring it down to one. Okay. If your one client is doing just 200 minutes a month, but you're charging them for a 250-minute plan, well, that means that they're only using 80% of the minute. So you can actually put in, like, let's say you've got 10 client, 100 minutes per client for 1,000 total minutes expected in terms of allotment across all of your clients, right? If your clients only use a total of 800 minutes, well, you're charging for 1,000 minutes. Your clients are only using 800 minutes. And when you're thinking about how much to pay your people, how many agents you have to have on, what are your internal costs, you don't go based off of, okay, what are the allotted minutes? You go based off of how many minutes are actually occurring in your call center. So this allows you to price things even better, to make it honestly a bit more margin, and it allows you to be a bit more efficient in terms of how much staff you actually need to get the real job done. Now, if you want to keep it simple, then you just say the occupancy is 100%. So 200 minutes talk time, total handle time 230, and you're charging based off of 230. And so, uh, if you're charging $1.50 a minute for every minute of allotment, then you get $345 in revenue. Let's change this to a dollar, right? So for every minute that you have, different clients signed up on plan for every minute, you're charging $1 a minute, so your revenue would be $230. Okay. But let's change this back down to the recommended 80%. Let's change this to, let's say $1.2 a minute. And again, let's change this number of clients back to about 56. Oh, a little higher than that, 52. Uh, I'm trying to get it back to the $25,000 a month here. So it's even more than that. Okay. So let's say around 73 clients, maybe 72. All right, whatever. About 72 clients, you have $25,000 a month, assuming these clients only doing about 200 minutes a month. So they're pretty tiny clients. Okay, so again, what does this look like, right? I'm getting deep into the woods here, but what this looks like is a total monthly gross profit of about $8,000 a month. So right in that $6,000 to $10,000 a month range. You're spending about payroll of $11,000 a month. That's assuming that you're paying your agent 1,000, you're paying your lead agent, two of them 1,200, and you're paying one supervisor $2,000 a month. Now you can make this lower, right? It doesn't need to be that high, especially when you're, employing people outside of the country. But if you're paying 2,000, that's a pretty good salary, and you can find some very high quality people at that point. But the point is that you personally have a lot of leeway here, right? Now I put a 1.3 multiplier on this salary, but frankly, it doesn't have to be that high. So say it was just a one. 1.0 multiplier. Well, now your profitability is a lot higher. But in terms of expectation, I think it's smarter to put yourself in a position where, you feel like you end up being more profitable than you thought you were going to be, right? Right now, I don't have a marketing cost in here. If you want to make $6,000 a month, then you could put in some marketing spend, um, and you're at that. The point is that there's a lot of different ways in which, at about $300,000 a year in revenue, you're able to make a pretty decent, full-time wage. Now, if you're not happy with this profit level, at this revenue level, well, the point of the calculator is figuring that out right now. So if you're charging this month this much, profit margin's a little bit higher. Let's bring the number of clients down again a bit. So about 60 at that level. Your profit on 310 is almost 189,000. It's $189,000, and so the margin is significantly greater. So you can see how the price per minute is very significant here. Um, and this allows you to really sort of game that out. So I hope this is helpful. Um, I am going to, sort of close this video out with a final message. Okay, so I hope you understood that from the breakdown. Um, we're in a beautiful time. What I've been telling people over and over again is I'm already a call center guy, right? And a lot of you, I mean, all of us are here in the age of the world transitioning for the only time in history to essentially an AI-powered existence. And when you think about sort of the major opportunities of the last 100 years. Um, the age of computers, the age of, um, the sort of dot-com bubble with the internet. There's the age of the smartphone, and now there's the age of a variant of AI. And so, as a call center person, with voice AI becoming a big component, I didn't want to like talk to potential future grandkids, and they're like, "Man, what were you doing when AI was getting started?" And I'm like, I didn't want to get too involved in that. I thought humans were better at it. No, we don't want to let this pass by. And so my goal is to equip you guys to be able to take advantage of this opportunity, not just start an AI call center that is just a voice AI and that's it. It's not the best way to do it. The ideal model is a hybrid system. The calculator gives you a sense of what your profitability will look like. You'll be able to forecast it. But if you're interested in really learning the system as to how to implement a hybrid call center business, um, you know, to subscribe to the channel. You already know what to do. Just sort of follow along with the content that I put out. We're about a month out from me actually releasing this thing, and no one's really doing this. There's people that have call centers all over the world. $250 billion in revenue is a huge industry and still growing. Voice AI is already in the billions of dollars and growing massively, but they're just voice AI call centers, right? There's very few, if anyone, that is doing a hybrid approach to this. So if you really want to get ahead of this is the business model to take, and I'm here to teach you how to do it. So stay tuned, get subscribed, and maybe click that bell so that you're notified every single time I post a new video. But thanks so much for watching this. I hope it was helpful. Leave a comment in terms of if it, changed your mindset about this entire thing.